What about my sweat equity?
Sweat equity. Sweat equity.
My sweat equity. My sweat equity.
Sweat equity.
What about my sweat equity?
You want to ruin the podcast right from the beginning?
I did it in the intro.
I know, but I hate it though.
You love it. That's how you get fired up. I know that's what you do in the morning. You
It
look in the-
actually does get me in the mood to argue with you. Yeah.
This is like the PTI for business. Pragmatic business advice with dick jokes.
Right. But this is the only graphics we can do, is these ones. And I'm running it again by myself.
Oh.
That's why I got my sunglasses on. Don't hate on me, all right? It's just I can't see the giant TV without them.
Are those Warby Parker, or do you need some Warby Parker glasses? You can go to warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Get 5 pairs sent to your house.
Very smooth. No, they're not. They're from I Buy Direct. Because they have my prescription saved, so I'm not going to.
You can put your you can type it in. Warby Parker.
Switch.
Wait a yes and the sponsor.
The sponsor understands.
No, they know
Right.
there's competition out there. They're going against it. You buy direct from Luxottica, that monolithic monopoly that owns 97%.
Mono. Just keep
That
saying
has mono.
things. And it has mono.
That's the kissing disease.
It's, you know.
You remember that was a big deal? I feel like that's not a big deal anymore.
Well, it's because we're grown-ups.
Is it still around?
Probably, yeah,
like in
for
middle
sure.
schoolers?
Yeah. It's
But
it's
it
when they
literally
start
take-
making out a lot, and then it just spreads like a virus.
But it would take a kid out for like a year.
It was a couple weeks, I think.
I feel like one guy I knew was like, "Oh, bro, I had mono all 7th grade. I worked from home or
Yeah.
studied from home or whatever."
No, I think there's a lot of playing it up with mono, because there's not a lot of physical, things wrong with you. It's just like I'm just tired.
Well, I mean, that's huge. I thought I had chronic fatigue syndrome for a while.
Oh, so you had mono?
I've never had it.
Oh.
I don't think. I
Well,
didn't,
then what was
I
the
didn't make
chronic
out with
fatigue-
anybody
What
until
was the chronic fatigue syndrome?
No,
Undiagnosed.
that's something else. Yeah. Oh, that's undiagnosed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm a hypochondriac too, so it's kind of
Add
like.
it to the list.
So what's really happening? I don't know.
Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The less I think about that stuff, the better. The healthier I am. So I
Right.
just kind of keep moving.
Chances are you're fine.
Oh no, I'm fine. But if you told me
I'm fine.
if you told me you had a cold last week and now I have one,
It's a
You-
coincidence.
you definitely gave it to me.
Even though I did physically blow snot out of my nose,
Yeah.
laughing so hard at Matt Fernandez.
And we've been in the Sweat Lodge studio, which, circulation's okay, but not the best.
It's good for keeping sound in and also bacteria.
Right.
So
These foam walls
yeah,
that you installed, by the way, kudos to you for
thank you.
having the grit and intestinal fortitude to
Yeah.
make it happen over time.
Shoulder strength.
It's a pain in the ass, dude.
Yes, I'm aware.
No, I mean that's the
On this old ass building.
that's a tip of the cap.
Yeah, it's barely standing.
If you're looking at us on YouTube or our Facebook page or Vimeo or LinkedIn, whatever the video is at for this podcast, you can see Eric's acoustic job on here. And look, we've upgraded the studio slowly but surely. It's been they talk about in business kind of 101 stuff. You run a brand or you run a business, it's about continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And you have to figure that out. And I literally, per Nick Snap, friend of the program that's been on here, he's a ops consultant, like a Six Sigma kind of guy. He came on. It was like theme your days out, and so I used to have Friday as
Hawaiian shirt day.
wear jeans,
Yeah.
silly hat day,
Crazy.
but Taco Tuesday.
That's everybody though.
I was just thinking of the Lego movie now.
Mm.
There's your president business, by the way.
Thank you. That's
Or Captain Business is what.
No, it's president business.
But I called you Captain Business before.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I
you
blacked
said
out.
You said you liked it.
I like any sort of authority you give me. Love it.
Captain Business.
Yeah.
I think Captain's better.
Yeah, sure.
'Cause,
I'll take it. I'll take corporal business.
It's funnier because
That could have a double meaning.
yeah,
Corporal referring to the body. I don't know.
or yeah. I just think of punishment immediately
Right.
because it's always associated with that. But
Mhm. Well,
I would say
physical punishment.
if we're talking joke wise, the contrast between captain and business because there's no captain business.
I
There's
get that.
captains of industry,
Right.
but
Thank
that's just
you.
a moniker.
Thank you for explaining the humor of the Lego movie to me.
You know,
I get it.
comedy's about contrast and conflict. So if you don't have that, you don't have comedy.
I know. I was watching it yesterday, Lego Movie 2.
Is it
Great
good?
movie. I love those movies. They're legit funny. Like
It-
you don't it's not you don't have to curse to be funny.
Think about that undertaking. Hey, we need you to write something funny for the Legos.
Dude, yeah, the kids movies that are actually funny are the best written comedy there are because if they're legit funny, that's harder to do clean.
But there's a constraint, I think, that's bigger than the Pixar world. The Pixar world uses the mind mapping stuff we were talking about 2 episodes ago. MindMeister or Miro has it for free within Miro,
Yeah.
which it used to be called, formerly Real Time Board.
Mhm.
But they use the mind mapping, right?
For what? For writing?
For writing. It came
Okay.
from Pixar. That mind map stuff came from. It's a thing from a guy from the '60s that was on Pixar's team for a while. He brought it out. It's basically take the creative and kind of just spaghetti. It's spaghetti on the wall, essentially.
Yeah.
It can kind of look like spaghetti. After
Well,
a
I
while.
mean, Toy Story is like a film school movie when it comes to like story structure and stuff. They literally show it.
But their only constraint is the technology at the time, right? The story can be as expansive as they want it to be. With
Sure.
Legos, you're kind of stuck in these jokes or in a world that is in the Lego world. So they can only use the certain pirate part. of
Right.
As a Lego nerd,
I
'cause
mean,
I was a fucking Lego nerd.
it's the movies are not exactly restrictive in their universe. I mean,
You have to use the certain worlds they already had, and you have to do the throwback ones, the main worlds that Lego had. Pirate, space.
yeah,
Charlie from Always Sunny, Charlie
Mhm.
Day
yeah,
is the space guy.
yep,
That with the broken
yeah.
thing,
It's all busted,
because that's how kids had it.
right?
But I mean, they had their certain like segments.
I get that.
You know,
You know.
they've expanded out. They've got all the brands now. But I'm saying like they had to start there for that first movie. I just think it's an interesting kind
Right.
of thing if you break it down.
For a writer, it's probably better to have kind of a starting point. You know, if it's that loose, you have these 10.
From our default earlier adult lazy, that from my default lazy person in me.
Not lazy.
No, just to be able to go. Well, I'm handcuffed.
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
So that C+ student is always inside me thinking, all right, that's my out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
I
get
mean,
it.
I think most people will try to find that too. I would say, how do we get on this topic?
I don't know. I'm talking. We really ran off the rails.
Comedy.
You wanted to talk some article you read.
So yeah, I want to start. I got to start writing more. I got to start bringing in something to jump off from. So we
Yeah.
kind of did this last second. So this recording, Easter Sunday,
Easter Sunday, get them eggs, dog.
Jesus came out of the cave and ascended like a dove.
Yep.
I think.
He shot a rocket launcher through a rock.
Yeah.
Jesus style.
Is he like Team
These
America?
jokes are not funny around my house, so I gotta get them out now. my
not
dad
funny
does
now.
not like
I don't
these.
know why I'm laughing.
They're not funny now, so
I
that's
mean,
the problem.
Jesus. All right, so I love me some Harvard Business Review. I love me some 538.
Mm.
I like things with analytical backup because
For those who don't know what 538 is, why don't you tell those idiots what that means?
spell it out. The letters 538.com. It is Nate Silver's like statistics website if you like, but if you like Freakonomics, it's in that fashion. So a lot of graphs, a lot of like, if you like those USA Today charts, get that soundboard ready. You know, we're on the front page of your USA Today, the shitty hotel you're staying in or motel,
Mhm.
Holiday Inn. You have the USA Today that'll always have some little infographic.
I gave you plenty of time to
On
bring
it.
me in.
538's like that.
Okay. Good.
So
Moving on.
So there was a study, 5 studies. Get the snore ready if you want. But basically,
Get
the article is
Google
called
ready. Make sure these studies are up to snuff.
"What Makes People Upgrade Products," and the answer is thinking about self-improvement.
Right.
So if we really break it down, the study breaks down 5 different independent studies over 1,200 people in the study, and what they would do is kind of single them out and talk about their self improvement. I'm giving you the Cliff's Notes. Obviously, I'm not going to
Yes,
attempt.
thank you for not
I'm not
reading
going to attempt to read
the
it
article
or
word for
read the
word,
study.
or read out loud at all.
Yeah, exactly. So they're saying there's a correlation between what you're doing in your self improvement and then in your self help in your own life and whether or not you upgrade products.
So is it a direct correlation?
What do you think?
Somebody who I think it's not.
I want to hear you. But how did you get there?
Because in my mind, I'm thinking about the guy who has the old phone who really doesn't give a shit. Most of the time, they have their head on right and they're worried about the things that are important. And most of the time, that is at least keeping their own life in check, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like the people who are really concerned with upgrading with every new phone usually aren't as worldly. You know, like they're just all about that, and they might probably use this new phone as not an excuse, but like something to make them feel like they are improving themselves.
So this is the answer I kind of hate.
You're right and you're wrong.
Right, exactly. Because they segment crowds out.
Yeah.
The basic gist of it is it's about egocentrism.
You'll get it. Go ahead.
Centrism.
We'll wait.
EGOCENTRISM. How do you say that?
Egocentrism?
Yeah, that's what I meant. For those that think I'm kind of having a stroke half the time on this show, we're doing like 3 things at once as we're going.
Yeah.
I am, but I mean, that doesn't
Minor stroke.
just a little bit. So typically when people identify with a brand, they perceive their own traits in the brand. Conversely, when people disidentify with the brand, they perceive the opposite of their traits in the brand.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's the general.
People with iPhones, they feel like they're a little bit above, you know.
So I was saying before we started,
And we both have iPhones.
I need to get on my content game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to take an article, write about it, we do the podcast, and then kind of do a post about it.
Yes.
And the one thing I wrote down was exactly that. So I try to have some unique angle of some sort, not from this article, but there is something like, something no one really talks about. People with iPhones I don't think people have iPhones have this pompous attitude. I think people with the Galaxy or Samsung phone,
they
have
put
this
these things
inferiority.
onto us.
Right.
It's their fault.
No, look, here's what I compared it to. Here's the joke I wrote about it. It's what we talked about. Get it ready. Get the prices right, Horn. This
I
is
got
gonna
it.
be a big fail.
I know which one to push.
No, this is going to be like what we talked about a couple episodes ago. The person that goes on Facebook to tell everybody, I'm leaving Facebook.
Right.
This will be my last post.
I feel like we talked about this already. Did we talk about this?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We talked
Good.
about
I
this
was paying attention. Good.
2 or 3 episodes ago. I'm leaving Facebook, and then without any irony, on Facebook.
Right.
The way to communicate with
Mm-hmm.
people you know. And then I was saying, no one gives a shit.
Mm-hmm.
No one gave a shit. Like, you don't have to do that. The hand went away from the keyboard.
Well, because you're not telling a joke,
It's not really a joke anymore. More of
Yeah.
like, it's kind of funny. You got to say it like that.
It didn't even reach that level for me.
Well, no, it's like no one gave a shit about you leaving. Look, it's a cocktail party. We're having a party at a friend's house, a house party,
Mm-hmm.
friend's house party.
And the one bitching over in the corner,
Someone's going,
and they leave.
Hey, I'm leaving.
Who cares?
Hey, and it's like, oh, were you invited
Yeah.
anyway?
When did you get here?
Oh, I didn't know you weren't supposed to be here,
I guess everybody was just kind of invited.
right? No one gives a fuck that you're Irish exiting. Okay.
Yeah.
No one. You should no one gives a fuck that you were there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you probably added no value to begin with.
What's your percentage on Irish exits from parties and whatnot?
Oh, I'm in the
Where the goodbyes require like 5 goodbyes.
I'm in the high 90s,
Yeah, me too.
90%. But or wait, we talking solo? We talking with a significant other?
Oh, solo 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
with a significant other.
Actually, probably 97. I had one guy that would call it out because he used to get butthurt about it.
Like, I
My
don't
buddy
care.
Marcos would be like, "What are you gonna do? You gonna just leave without saying goodbye?" I'd be like, like
Yep.
lurching.
Pew!
Yeah.
Gone.
Right. But that doesn't count because I got caught.
Yeah. But
So I would time my Irish exit to when he wasn't in the same room so I could leave.
Yeah, that's good.
You ain't going to take
That's
me
how you-
down.
yeah, that's how you got to
Fucking
do it.
ninja. I'm the
when you're
Dark
an
Knight,
Irish.
bitch. Ra's al Ghul's fucking student. I'm in this shit.
You're like, I thought you were leaving.
No,
With the Batman references, lol. I thought you were leaving Irish style.
the worst part, I'm Irish Batman. I drink too much to fly.
Liam
So,
Neeson is Irish.
that's true. And he's racist. So,
And I'm racist.
no, that again, that's another perception thing. People wanted to hear that soundbite of Liam Neeson, and if you listen to the whole thing, he goes, "This was a bad attitude I used to have.
Right.
I've had that attitude for 30 years.
Yeah.
Once my eyes were open to the world, and I wasn't in this shitball town
Yeah.
anymore. That was in. It's so weird.
Yeah, and they just chop all that shit off.
Chop it off like a
You're going to say something about some sort of circumcision or something.
ooh, that was a better route. I was gonna go trans. The surgery.
Wow. Right off the whole thing.
Yeah.
I just want to
Chop
a
it
little
off.
tip. Just a tip.
Well, you do love a bris.
I do. Great time.
Your favorite thing to do,
Love
I
some
would say after
Manischewitz.
podcasting, Eric loves his bris.
Bust it out.
You guys need a moil? You guys need a moil? So my thing is about like a lot of people like to tell me I'm leaving Facebook or but unprovoked. We're not even talking about it really.
Yeah.
That the Galaxy phone is so much better than the iPhone. It's like, okay, cool. What?
Yeah.
But there's that. Then there's the other one, which is more passive aggressive, where they go, they'll be like, that iPhone sucks compared to this phone. And you're like, okay.
Oh, you're coming at me now.
I'm like, okay, why?
We're in a fight.
I was like, why are we talking about this? And I'm like, they'll tell you about the pixels on the phone. And look, John
Okay.
Paul's got it. And
The camera is fucking badass.
no doubt. I'm not arguing.
900 frames per second slow-mo, bro.
I'm not arguing. What he does on his phone with that is
Your
awesome.
phone sucks, dude.
I don't care. There's a
Compared to
switch.
John Paul's.
There's a switching cost.
Yeah.
That's another aspect people don't think about. It's not.
You
It's
got to
not
buy
like-
new chargers.
It's not
or
like going
use
to fast
one of
food.
the 1,000 you already have.
You decide to go to one fast food over the other. It's
Mhm.
like, hey, I've got a contract with whatever. It's the illusion of choice, by the way. Anyway, you fucking dumbos. Like, you have two
Right.
main phone makers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
If Apple's not getting your data, by the way, if you want to get in a data conversation, they do more about privacy than fucking anybody else. But they don't get the credit for it because journalists don't know how to fucking report it.
Yeah.
The other part is, your Galaxy's so fucking cheap, or your Samsung phone, it's so cheap because it's slowly storing data. They're
Yeah.
getting you on the back end, and you don't even fucking know.
And
it.
you're getting ads
And-
with some stuff.
Yeah, you don't even know it. You're getting that. It's like when you got an old Windows computer, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, this thing was half as much as a Mac," and you got it, and there's pop-ups on your fucking desktop
Right.
even when the internet's not on.
Yeah.
And you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yes.
So they get you in the back end.
Yeah.
Right in the back end.
Right
baby.
in there.
So it's an illusion of choice.
Androids.
Right? You don't even have that choice. You think you do.
I don't think that.
But how can you have such a superiority
Right.
complex where you go, hey, man, this Galaxy kicks the shit out of that iPhone. It's like, who gives a fuck? They're just phones.
Did you have a recent confrontation with an Android?
This is
one
an
of them
amalgam.
droids?
This is an amalgam of like the last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're just at the boiling point.
Yeah. I figure I'll pull them all together into one villain. But no, I have.
See his
I have-
face now.
I have no.
Robotic.
I like to have good candor, and I will call people out by name that aren't here. Mature thing to do. But
Are you
here's
tele-roasting anyone today?
no.
You gonna
Here,
say something about John J. Murray? Sorry, buddy.
yeah, BO. I have BO right now.
Yeah, me
don't-
too. We all stink.
I really do.
I think
You
I
texted
really
me like I'm on the way. I was like, oh shit. All right. I'm getting my jazzercise on. So
I didn't notice.
so I put a different shirt on. The one thing that was interesting about this article too was that, oh, by the way, you don't have it's an illusion of choice of carriers too. You only get to pick from 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's like airlines,
Yeah.
internet providers. If you're telling me fucking Comcast is better than AT&T's internet, I don't give a fuck.
Right. And don't they a lot of them share towers?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like-
they're all fucking colluding. Like,
It's I mean,
so
so obvious. All you have to do is climb over the fence of a tower, climb to the top, and you could see all the different switches.
So my theory is the less competition in the thing they're telling you about, right? That person that's telling you, "Oh no, this is way better. You got to get this." The thing that's interesting about that, I think that's part of. It's not in the study, but I think that should be added to it, right? So the insecurity factor of telling you, "I've got an advantage on you,"
Mm-hmm.
even though you know the competition's so bad,
Right.
and if competition's good, the end user has a better experience or better product,
Sure. Oh, it's definitely insecurity.
right?
I
So-
mean, it's like obviously you have much bigger problems than your phone being better than mine.
And look, I jokingly say, like, as long as Tim Cook, Auburn grad, is the CEO, I will always be Apple. But the real truth is, I like the design.
It's better. It's better.
It probably gives me a subconscious feeling that it's classier. I don't know, maybe.
It's just use a Windows computer.
But switching cost,
Right.
right? Like, if I go over to Windows, not everything syncs up. I'm already.
Does anything sync up?
I'm already my period, but I'm brand loyal, and now they got me.
Yeah.
I'm not an advocate. I'm not like, hey, you got to get this new MacBook.
But you're not switching right back either because it's like now you got all the right cords for this one.
Well, I'm like, maybe we get a Chromebook for in here, or maybe we get one of those Surface Pros for some of the production studio stuff. But other than that, it's all about utility.
Yeah. And
Right.
we'll still hate those things.
Right. I can
These
use.
fucking piece of shit.
I used to carry both a MacBook and a Windows. Like a fucking talk about nerd alert. My back fucking has
What kind of poser
scoliosis.
do you want me to be? Do you want me to pretend to like
Well,
Windows?
no, 10 years ago, a lot of shit didn't work on. I mean, all the Windows stuff was like, more Windows only.
Yeah.
And then
I
they finally-
get it. 10 years ago, yeah. That was probably heavy.
Well, I mean, Mac's not as big in the laptop market as you think, or just the computer part.
No.
Because they boomed in the 90s, and now everybody's so Windows. I mean, it goes the other way like that. In
Well,
the
I mean-
90s, everybody has a Windows desktop, Dell or something.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people with
Gotta
like
get a Dell.
800 pixel wide Dells and
Yeah.
gateways and shit. They're
Yeah.
like, no, it's still good, man.
Bottom, it's like 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
Is that like an extra long battery? Like,
Hey, can you fix my tower?
it's got double DVDs.
You're like, tower?
spots.
What the fuck? The hell?
Like, all these they busted it into a bunch of different pieces.
Yeah. So my thing was like, when people come at you like that, I used to bite on that bait a little bit. Like,
Mm.
I used to go, I used to be like, oh yeah, your phone's that much better. I mean, like, what? Because I'll try to think of something in the moment to just go back at them.
Right.
The good thing about doing stand up is you always kind of have a pocket ready to go.
Of course.
But I can't think of anything now. 'Cause it'd be I
It's
don't
too much pressure.
no. Well, now definitely. But
I mean, well, yeah, now you just bottle it up
all right. So
and
what?
you talk about it on a podcast 5 years later.
Well, that's why do you think we have?
Take
this?
that,
Why do you think we have this podcast?
Androids.
So the one thing that I thought was interesting is if the way it's advertised to you, the way it's marketed to you, to upgrade your phone. That's what they use in the study.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're already working on yourself, like I think both of us do, respectively,
Uh-huh.
I think they say the way it's positioned would be like it's time to upgrade.
Like it's an obvious
You read it.
eventuality.
So this is advertising creative breakdown. You read it in second person, right? But then the narcissism of yourself goes, I need to upgrade myself.
Idiots falling for this marketing. But actually, now that I think about it, I probably could use a new phone.
On the other side,
That happens probably to everybody.
it goes the other way because they talk about advertising with, don't be stuck in the past with your awkward teenage years.
Right, yeah.
Don't be a fucking loser, old man, white guy.
Yeah.
Those old men, old white men, fucking suck. Don't be them.
Yeah.
Be
Just
this.
insult them to their face.
And you're like, but they said that has the other effect for the people that they're targeting people that are like almost self-deprecating and like it'll be effective to them.
So self-deprecating?
I mean,
I feel like that's insecure. Like that
Or
would work for
insecure,
insecure
They know
people.
they need to work on themselves, but they don't.
Yeah. And then that's one way they
and
can.
they'll buy and they'll upgrade.
Yeah.
Because that's like a cheat code. It's not really upgrading your life, but it is upgrading.
Yeah, the way they have it structured, that
Isn't that
it's
interesting?
you can, if you just keep up with it, if you just keep getting the new one, it's like a car payment. They want you to get into that, like, this is my monthly tithing
Yeah.
to Lord AT&T.
Well, so
or
the nerd
whatever.
part of me, the technical part of me, Asperger's-y part of me looks at the study. It's like it's going from iPhone 5 to iPhone 6 when they're talking about this.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, it's like, oh, yeah, the study's going to be delayed. And then they didn't even have the thing where you get charged whatever. Everybody butt fucks you with a $40 charge because you upgrade. They go, we'll just spread it across the months. You won't even have to decide.
Yeah. It's like $1 a month. What's the big deal?
Don't worry, because you
Get
have
9
to
of 'em.
buy the phones from one of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they
Doesn't
just
matter.
spread it out.
T-Mobile, we're no different.
Different kind of lubes.
So-
That's all it is.
So yeah, it's one of those things that I found that widely interesting, and then I thought about, all right, what's the takeaway from this? And what's the takeaway from this article that is yes-anding it almost? And I was thinking about, where are we on time, by the way? 25? All right.
26. Don't matter.
Good, my eyesight is killer. All right.
Eagle eye.
Eagle eye.
Pew.
2015 in one eye, 2020 in the other.
Mm.
So, too fat to be a pilot.
Is that what
Fighter
they said?
pilot? No. You got to be like 5'5" or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
have to be
gotta
like
be-
Martin Short. I don't know. He seems
Tom
very
Cruise.
slight
I was
to
going
me.
to go with Top Gun.
Yeah.
Who's right there.
He got to be like
He ain't no Val Kilmer, though.
Anthony. Who's Goose?
Hawk?
No, Goose.
Yeah,
Anthony
no. Hawkins.
Hawkins. That's it.
He
We're
was
never
on E-
looking it up
he
either.
was on
Hope it drives
ER.
you crazy.
I
Yeah, he was
know.
on ER.
I hate listening when people are like on podcasts. What's his name? Goose? That guy?
Anthony Goose.
And then we take 5 minutes and try to figure it out.
Nah. We just
Welcome to Digital
we
Dementia.
speculate and move on.
All right, so I took this and I go, what's the takeaway to write about? And it's kind of the sense of urgency. Create your own sense of urgency in your life. You're really good at that.
Definitely.
I think it's adjacent to discipline stuff, but I think you can easily negotiate out of doing these. I'm going to do these kind of habits from now on.
Right.
Right. And so if you make a sense of urgency, like you're dying,
Yes.
which technically we all are.
We all are.
If you do that, like I was telling you, sometimes I'll work out. If I need to get in the mindset, I'll say they're taking your kids away from you. And I know that's psycho.
That is a very intense way to think about it.
It made me I thought it was weird, and then I heard Rogan talk about he acts like Joe Rogan talks about when he runs, he acts like his family's getting chased by like a bear or something.
Sure.
Overnight. And I was like, okay, that makes
I
me
get
feel
that.
better.
No, I get it.
But it's like, what's the worst thing that you can think of that's plausible?
Yeah.
If you don't do this the best you can do.
What is going to get the reaction you need from yourself?
Right. And working out, physical stuff, it's all about negative reinforcement. Everything else is positive reinforcement for me.
Yeah.
And so my thing is like, I look at it like, all right, how do you create a sense of urgency for yourself
Yeah.
without overdoing it?
Yeah. It's just so weird that we have this like conversation with ourselves.
Well-
It's like, is who's listening to this talking to myself about what a pussy I am? Well,
Oh, you mean
I'm just saying inside your
I
own
thought
head.
you were
it's-
saying the listener.
no.
What listeners are listening to us talk about? All right, I got
No, I'm saying when you're negotiating with yourself, it's like you're telling yourself these things. It's like, okay, well that's weird.
Candy over eating vegetables, right?
Yeah,
You're like, man, I want that fucking candy bar
Yeah.
so bad.
I know. I'm just saying it's trippy. Who's the other person listening to you talking shit to yourself?
What do you? What? I'm not following.
I'm just saying that it's like there's two people in
Oh
your
yeah,
head.
the devil and the angel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a mental gymnastics or wrestling we all kind of do
Mm-hmm.
to make decisions. Typically, that candy bar scenario with vegetables, right? You're gonna go make some fucking asparagus upstairs or something at your place.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually what the one I'd had. So I was like, my first instinct is like, no, I shouldn't eat that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it, and I think for me, the more I think about that kind of decision, always go with the first one. Because my first one's like, go eat what you bought.
Yeah.
Don't go to the vending machine.
99% of the time, first one. That's the right one.
Delayed gratification's better.
Yeah.
You eat a candy bar over vegetables for a week, and then you're mad at yourself for being 10 pounds heavier, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixed with whatever you're doing in an unhealthy life.
Yeah.
You're already doing an unhealthy lifestyle. You need to balance it out.
Maybe the thing is to create that person in your head. Give it its own personality. Give them a name.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up, Ronald.
I tell startups in here when we're doing the discovery session with them, I need you to create a villain.
Yeah.
And it's your competition, but I need you to make it into one singular thing.
Yeah, target.
Right? You don't hate them. You don't want them to die. You want to beat them.
Right.
Right? It's like an NFL team versus another NFL team. They don't really hate each other. But
Yeah.
you get in the game, you hate the fuck out of them.
Yeah, they have a real opponent.
Pick up basketball. I'll get into it sometimes, and I have to remember like a minute after, or any sports thing. But pick up basketball is like kind of the most relatable.
So you know.
Yeah, I'd say like there's some games that you're going back and forth trying to win and keep the court, and you're like, you know, you shoot a three you weren't supposed to and fucking brick. And you're like, fuck, shit.
Yeah.
You're just the guy. Move. Yeah, and no one cares.
Pull me.
I don't care 45 seconds later.
Yeah.
But while we're in it, I want to win it.
Yeah. That's what's weird. Business is like there's competition, but not directly. You know, like you don't go into work, see your nemesis, go to work all day, and then you look at the scoreboard at the end of the day. Did I win? It's not, you know, it kind of goes out into the ether.
Don't look across the sales floor at the other salesperson and go, I got to get better than him. You got to get the best you get. Because that can also be a glass ceiling too. Because you might beat that person, but you also might have a resentment towards that person too in a weird way that you don't know. But you need to also, you might beat that person and go, now I'm content.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of as a business owner. There's not the direct because a salesman, absolutely, they fucking love looking at their numbers.
If you're a startup, I tell everybody I like to do this question like a professor in college, like when I'm talking to people in their intro meeting, I'll go, "Who's your number one competitor?"
Yeah,
and they'll go, "Well, that guy, I don't know, that guy down the street."
Yeah.
And I'll go, "No, your number one competitor is the customer or client or patient, whatever it is, that doesn't use your product or service."
That's good. I like that.
And they're dome.
I like that.
Then I sound like Jedi mind
Paradigm shift.
So look, we see sense of urgency everywhere. It does work. You have to create it and then not break it, right? So create a sense of urgency. Like I was like, all right, I need to pound some water. I need to wake up. I slept in late. All right. Before I can go do anything else, you got to pound a bunch of water. You got to go sit on the bike. You got to write.
Yeah.
You see it in Amazon, artificial scarcity with out of stock. You see it, that out of stock shit, that'll work on you. You see it when you're buying a plane ticket, artificial scarcity again. These things do work, so why can't you work on yourself and do it that way?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, you don't say nothing else, buddy. We're gonna end it on that. That's a good way to do it.
I saw you like
Sweat equity.
I didn't want you to ruin it.
Sweat equity.
SweatEquityPod.com.
Don't
you talk.
More of this on a blog post on SweatEquityPod.com or Toast the Baza, TOCOBA.
Sweat equity.